Eli Mercer sat alone in his room on Aurelia Prime, the largest space station in the galaxy. The station floated like a bright jewel between the stars, home to over 200 alien species. As Earth's official diplomat, Eli had come a long way from his quiet life back on Earth. Still, some nights felt lonely in the cold silence of space. His room was small, but peaceful. A window showed the stars outside, endless and silent. On his desk, a small plant from Earth sat in a cup of water, a little reminder of home. Eli was reading a report about trade agreements when he heard a soft knock at his door. He looked up, confused. It was nearly midnight station time. Who would visit him now? "Enter," he said, standing. The door opened with a quiet hiss, and in stepped a tall, graceful figure. Her skin shimmered like silver under the soft lights, and her large, deep blue eyes sparkled with intelligence. She wore a long, flowing robe covered in glowing symbols. Eli blinked. It was Princess Kaylani, the heir to the Virilan Empire, one of the most powerful races in the galaxy. Her people were known for their wisdom, elegance, and strict customs. Eli had only spoken to her once, and even then, it was in front of 100 other diplomats. "Princess," he said, trying not to sound too surprised. "Is everything all right?" Kailani stepped inside and looked around curiously. Then she turned to him and said in a calm, quiet voice, "Can I sleep with you tonight, human?" Eli's eyes widened, and he nearly dropped the data tablet in his hand. I beg your pardon?" he stammered, unsure if he had heard her correctly. She tilted her head slightly, her long silver hair moving like liquid light. "Sleep. Rest. The Virilan do not like to sleep alone during times of stress. It calms the mind to be near someone we trust. You were kind to me at the council meeting. I find your presence safe." Eli's mind raced. He had read about Virilan customs, but no one had mentioned this. Was this normal? Was it dangerous to say no? There's only one bed," he said weakly. She nodded. "That is fine. I will not disturb you. I only wish to sleep." Eli rubbed the back of his neck. "Right. Well, if this is part of your culture, I suppose I don't want to be rude." Kaylani gave a small smile, then gracefully walked to the bed and sat on the edge. She removed her long robe, revealing a simple sleep tunic made of soft, glowing fabric. She lay down gently on one side of the bed, facing the wall. Eli stood awkwardly for a moment, then slowly turned off the room's light, climbed into the other side of the bed, and stared at the ceiling. Silence filled the room, except for the soft hum of the station's systems. After a few minutes, Kaylani spoke again, her voice quiet. "Your room is very peaceful. I like the small plant." Eli smiled in the dark. "It's from Earth. A fern. It doesn't do much, but it reminds me of home." "Your home must be green then," she said. "Our world is silver and gold, trees like crystal, but it is quiet like this." Eli turned slightly to look at her. "You're not scared, are you?" She was silent for a moment, then she said, "Not scared, just unsure. Many on the council do not trust each other. Some do not trust me, but you looked at me as if I was just another person. That is rare." Eli felt a strange warmth in his chest. This alien princess, so distant, so important, was just someone trying to find peace in a strange place. "I'll stay right here," he said softly. "You can sleep safely, princess." "Thank you, human," she replied. "And you may call me Kaylani." He nodded. "All right. Good night, Kaylani." "Good night, Eli Mercer." As the two drifted into sleep under the glow of distant stars, neither of them knew this small, strange moment would change the future of the galaxy. The morning light spilled gently into Eli Mercer's room aboard Aurelia Prime. Eli woke up slowly, still thinking about the night before. The memory of Princess Kaylani lying quietly beside him felt strange, but somehow comforting. He rubbed his eyes and looked around. The silver-haired princess was already awake, sitting near the window, gazing out at the stars. "Good morning, Kailani," Eli said, smiling softly. She turned and gave him a small smile back. "Good morning, human. Thank you for letting me stay last night." "It was my honor," Eli replied, still feeling a little shy. "I didn't know your people had this kind of tradition." Kailani nodded. "Many Virellans believe that sleeping near someone creates trust. It connects our minds in a peaceful way. It helps us feel safe when the world is uncertain." Eli sat down at his small desk, rubbing his temples. "Well, it's not common on Earth. Most people like to have their own space, but I can understand wanting to feel safe." Just then, his communicator beeped sharply. Eli answered quickly. "Eli Mercer, report." The voice of Captain Harrow from the station's security command said, "Good morning, Captain. What's the matter?" "There's been some gossip circulating on the council. Something about Princess Kailani choosing to sleep with a human diplomat," the captain said, his voice low but serious. "It's causing quite a stir. Some delegates are worried." Eli frowned. "Really? It was a cultural tradition, nothing more." "I understand, but you know how politics work here. Some are already calling it a scandal." Kailani stood quietly behind Eli as he spoke. She heard the word scandal, and her blue eyes darkened for a moment. "I will deal with this," she said firmly. "But you should be prepared, Eli. Your peaceful night may become a challenge for both of us." Eli swallowed nervously. "I'm ready." The rest of the morning passed in a blur of meetings and discussions. Eli tried to focus on his diplomatic work, but whispers followed him everywhere. Some aliens looked at him with curiosity, others with suspicion. It felt like he was walking through a room full of eyes that didn't quite understand him. Later that day, Kailani invited Eli to a private dinner in one of the station's quiet gardens. The garden was full of glowing plants and soft humming lights. It was a peaceful place far away from the noise of politics. "Eli," Kailani said as they sat down, "I want to thank you again for your kindness. Most humans would not understand Virellan customs so quickly." Eli smiled. "I'm glad I could help. Your people have fascinating traditions. I want to learn more." Kailani looked thoughtful. "Our culture values trust above all. But sometimes, that trust is hard to find, especially in politics." Eli nodded. "I know. Earth has its problems too. But maybe that's why this works. Because we both understand what it means to struggle for peace." Their conversation deepened as the evening went on. They talked about their worlds, their histories, and their hopes for the future. Kailani shared stories of the Virellan Empire, where peace was maintained by honor and respect, but also by careful control. Eli talked about Earth's diversity, its mistakes, and its strength. Humans can be stubborn, but we are also creative. When we face a challenge, we find new ways to solve it. Kailani smiled softly. "That is why I believe humans can be good allies." As the night grew darker, Kailani rested her hand lightly on Eli's arm. "Would you share one more night with me, Eli? To sleep as friends?" Eli's heart quickened. "Of course I would be honored." Back in Eli's room, as Kailani settled onto the bed, Eli noticed something new. She seemed less distant, more open. The barrier between them, the barrier between human and alien, felt smaller. But not everyone was pleased. The next day, rumors spread faster than light. A group of alien diplomats led by a tall, stern figure from the Zarn species called a formal meeting. The Zarn were known for their strict and serious ways, and they viewed human emotions as unpredictable and dangerous. "Eli Mercer," the Zarn leader said coldly, "your close relationship with Princess Kailani raises serious questions. Is this a political move? An attempt to manipulate the Virellan Empire? We demand answers." Eli stood calmly. "I understand your concern, but I assure you, this is not manipulation. Kailani and I share mutual respect and trust. Our alliance is built on honesty," the council murmured. Some nodded, others remained skeptical. Kailani spoke next, her voice steady but firm. "I choose who I trust. Eli Mercer has shown me respect and kindness. That is why I allow him near. The Zarn leader sneered. Human emotions are messy and weak. How can you be sure this trust is not a trick? Kaylani's eyes flashed. Because trust is a strength, not a weakness. You do not understand it. The tension in the room was thick. The council chairperson called for calm and postponed further discussion. Eli left the chamber feeling the weight of their doubts. He understood now that his simple act of kindness had become a political lightning rod. That night, Kaylani came to his room again. She sat quietly beside him and said, "The council will watch us closely, but I believe in what we share." Eli smiled gently. "So do I, Kaylani. Whatever comes, we face it together." She leaned slightly closer. "Good, because sometimes even a princess needs a friend and a pillow." Eli laughed softly. "Then I will be the best pillow you've ever had." Under the stars of Aurelia Prime, a human and an alien princess began a bond that no politics could break. A bond that might one day change the fate of the galaxy. Days passed on Aurelia Prime, but the tension surrounding Princess Kaylani and Eli Mercer did not fade. Instead, it grew stronger, like a storm building in the distance. The council chambers buzzed with whispered conversations and sharp glances. Eli knew that the unusual bond between him and Kaylani was more than just a simple friendship. It was a message, one that some feared and others misunderstood. Yet, for Eli, it was a bridge between two very different worlds. One morning, while preparing for the day's council session, Kaylani called Eli to her private quarters. Her expression was serious, and the usual calmness in her eyes was replaced with a flicker of worry. "Eli," she began, "there is something I must tell you. It is about my home, the Viralan Empire." Eli listened carefully as she explained. "The Empire is not as united as it seems," Kaylani said quietly. "Behind the silver walls and golden towers, there are voices that want to challenge my rule. They believe I am too close to humans. They fear change and see you as a threat." Eli's heart tightened. "How bad is it?" Kaylani sighed. "Bad. Enough that some nobles have started secret meetings. If they succeed, it could mean war within my own people." Eli placed a hand gently on her arm. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Kaylani nodded. "Yes, you will attend the upcoming Peace Gala with me. It is a gathering of all important leaders. Your presence there will show that humans and Virelans are united." The idea made Eli nervous. He had never attended such a formal event among alien royalty, but Kaylani's trust in him gave him courage. The day of the gala arrived, and the Grand Hall of Aurelia Prime shimmered with lights and colors from countless alien species. The air was thick with music, laughter, and polite conversation. Eli stood beside Kaylani, dressed in formal attire adapted to his human form. Around them, diplomats and nobles whispered and stared. Some smiled politely, others watched with suspicion. Kaylani moved gracefully through the crowd, introducing Eli as her honored guest and friend. She spoke proudly of their growing alliance, but not everyone was pleased. During a quiet moment, a sharp voice interrupted the celebration. "You walk beside a human, Princess Kaylani," said Lord Vyrath, a powerful Virelan noble with cold eyes and a harsh tone. "Is this the future you choose for our empire?" Kaylani did not flinch. "Yes, Lord Vyrath. The future of the Virelan Empire includes friendship with humanity. Eli Mercer stands with me because he represents a new way, one of trust and respect." Vyrath's lips curled into a sneer. "You risk everything for a species you barely understand. This alliance is dangerous." Eli stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "I may be from Earth, but I understand honor and loyalty. Princess Kaylani's trust is not given lightly. I am here to stand by her side, not to harm her people." The room fell silent. For a moment it seemed that tension might explode into anger. Kaylani raised her hand gently. "We are here to build peace, not to spread fear. If we cannot find strength in trust, what hope do we have?" The crowd slowly relaxed, and the gala continued with cautious smiles. After the event, Kaylani and Eli walked through the station's garden, the stars shining brightly above. Thank you for standing with me, Kelani said softly. Tonight was difficult but necessary. Eli smiled. You're strong, Kelani, and you're not alone. She looked at him thoughtfully. The rebellion grows stronger, but your presence gives me hope. They paused near a small pond where glowing plants reflected in the water. I don't want war, Kelani whispered. I want peace, for my people and for all worlds. Eli took her hand gently. We will find peace together. Their hands remained linked as they walked back toward their rooms, two allies united by trust and hope. Yet far beyond the shining halls of Aurelia Prime, the seeds of rebellion continued to spread. The virulent whisper of war was growing louder, and soon both Eli and Kelani would have to face it head-on. The calm of Aurelia Prime was broken by a sudden wave of suspicion. Eli Mercer felt it the moment he stepped into the council chamber. Whispers followed him like shadows, and the eyes of alien delegates burned with doubt. It started with an anonymous message, delivered in secret to the council's highest leaders. The message claimed that humans were emotionally manipulative, untrustworthy, and a danger to the fragile peace of the galaxy. It suggested that Eli's closeness to Princess Kelani was a ploy to gain influence over the Virellan Empire. Eli's heart sank. He had hoped his honesty and kindness would speak louder than fear and prejudice. But now he was being judged not as an individual, but as a symbol of humanity, an unknown and often misunderstood species. The council chamber was filled with tension as the accusations were read aloud. The chairperson, a wise and neutral figure, called for calm and invited Eli to speak. Eli rose steadily, his voice clear. I understand the concerns, but I assure you my actions are not about manipulation. I am here to build trust, not to deceive. Princess Kelani sat beside him, her presence a powerful statement of support. I trust Eli because he has earned it through respect and honesty. The strength of our alliance is built on that trust, but not all were convinced. The leader of the Zarn delegation, a tall figure with piercing eyes, stood and spoke sharply. Humans are unpredictable. Your emotions can lead to chaos. How can we be sure this alliance will not bring destruction? Eli met the Zarn's gaze, without fear. Emotions are not weaknesses. They are part of what makes us human. They guide us to protect those we care about and to work harder for peace. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some delegates nodded, while others looked skeptical. The debate went on for hours, with each side presenting arguments and doubts. Outside the chamber, Eli felt the weight of the galaxy's expectations. He was not just a diplomat, he was a symbol of humanity's place in the stars. Later that day, a surprise awaited him. Earth had sent a small fleet toward Aurelia Prime, officially to ensure Eli's safety. But the move was seen by many as a sign of distrust. Like Earth believed Eli might be in danger or even held against his will. Kelani met Eli in a quiet hallway, her face serious. Your people do not trust the council's judgment, she said softly. They think you are being held hostage. Eli shook his head. No, I am here by choice. My mission is to build peace, not to be rescued. She smiled faintly. Then we must show them that you are free and that our alliance is true. Together, they decided to hold a public meeting, inviting representatives from Earth, the Council, and all involved species. The goal was to prove that Eli's presence was voluntary and based on genuine partnership. The meeting was tense. Cameras from Earth's fleet broadcasted the event live. Delegates watched closely, waiting for any sign of trouble. Eli spoke clearly. I stand here by my own will. I believe in the friendship between Earth and the Virellan Empire. I ask for your trust, as I trust you, Kelani added. Our bond is real. It is not built on fear or control, but on mutual respect and hope. The moment felt fragile, like a thin thread holding a heavy weight. But slowly, applause broke out from some delegates. Others remained quiet but attentive. That night, as the stars blinked outside Eli's window, Kelani came to him again. She sat beside him, her voice gentle. You have shown strength, Eli, not just as a diplomat, but as a symbol of what humans can be. Eli looked at her. I never wanted to be a symbol. I just wanted to be a friend. And you are, Kailani said. More than that, you are a bridge between our peoples. The bond between them grew stronger with each challenge, but the galaxy was watching, waiting to see if their trust would be enough to hold peace together, or if the whispers of fear would tear them apart. The stars outside Aurelia Prime shone bright, but inside the Virelan Empire's political halls, darkness was gathering. Eli Mercer sat beside Princess Kailani in her private chamber. The walls were decorated with glowing tapestries that told stories of Virella's ancient past. But today, those stories felt far away from the present danger. Kailani's face was serious. Eli, the rebellion is no longer just whispers, it has become open defiance. Some of my people want to stop this alliance by force. Eli looked at her, feeling the weight of her words. Is there no way to stop it without war? Kailani shook her head slowly. I have tried to speak with the nobles, but their fear runs deep. They do not trust humans or their emotions. They see us as weak. Eli took a deep breath. Then I will go with you. I want to see your world. Maybe together, we can find a way. Kailani looked surprised but nodded. It is dangerous, but your presence may show my people that this alliance is real. The next day, they boarded a sleek Virelan ship bound for Kailani's homeworld, Virella. The planet was breathtaking. From orbit, with silver forests and golden cities that gleamed under twin suns. But as they landed, the atmosphere felt tense. Guards watched them closely and many nobles avoided their gaze. Kailani introduced Eli as her trusted friend and ally, but some nobles whispered behind closed doors. Eli noticed the cold stares and the careful silence. In the days that followed, Eli walked the streets of Virella. He saw beauty unlike anything on Earth. Crystal trees that shimmered in the light, rivers that sang soft songs, and people who moved with grace. But he also saw fear and suspicion. One evening, as Eli and Kailani prepared for a council meeting, a messenger arrived with urgent news. The rebels have taken control of a nearby city, the messenger said. They demand that the princess surrender or face war. Kailani's eyes darkened. We must act carefully. I will call a meeting of the council. Eli nodded. I want to help. Tell me what to do. Kailani smiled faintly. Your human courage is rare. Together we can face this. The council meeting was held in a grand hall, filled with nobles from across the empire. Voices rose in anger and fear as they debated the next steps. Some urged immediate military action. Others begged for peace. Kailani stood and spoke calmly. War will only bring more pain. We must find a way to listen and understand. Eli added, I have seen your people's strength and wisdom. I believe we can solve this without fighting. Young noble stepped forward skeptical. How can we trust a human to lead us through this? Eli met the young noble's gaze. Trust is earned by actions, not words. I am willing to prove myself. The meeting ended without a clear decision, but Kailani and Eli knew the time for waiting was ending. That night, Kailani invited Eli to rest in her chambers. Tomorrow I must face the rebels. Eli took her hand gently. You won't be alone. I'm with you. She smiled softly. Thank you, Eli. Your presence gives me strength. As they lay down to rest, the Virelan tradition of shared sleep began. This ancient ritual allowed two people to share their thoughts and memories while dreaming. It was a powerful way to build trust. Eli felt himself entering a deep, calm state. In the dream, he saw Kailani's past, her childhood, the love of her family, and the heavy burden of being a princess. He felt her fears and hopes as if they were his own. Then Kailani saw his memories, the joys and struggles of Earth, the warmth of human connection, and the will to survive against odds. When they awoke, their bond was stronger than ever. Kailani looked at Eli with new trust. You understand now. Together, we can face whatever comes. Eli smiled. We will find peace, No matter how hard the road, outside, the stars continued to shine, silent witnesses to a friendship growing between two very different worlds. Friends who dared to dream of peace even in the fire of rebellion. The morning sun cast a soft silver light over the grand palace of Virella. Inside the ancient halls, Eli Mercer prepared for a challenge unlike any he had faced before. Kaylani stood nearby, her expression calm but serious. Eli, to earn the trust of my people, you must complete the trial of sleep. Eli blinked. Trial of sleep? What is that? Kaylani smiled softly. It is an old Virellan ritual. Two people share a deep sleep, linking their minds. Through this connection, they experience each other's memories, hopes, and fears. It is a test of trust and understanding. Eli hesitated. The idea of sharing his thoughts so deeply with someone, especially an alien, felt strange and a little frightening. But he knew it was important. I'm ready, he said finally. That evening they entered a quiet chamber lined with soft cushions and glowing crystals. The air was still, filled with a gentle warmth. Kaylani guided Eli to lie down beside her, on a large mattress. Close your eyes, she whispered. As they relaxed, a strange sensation washed over Eli. The room seemed to dissolve, replaced by a vast star-filled sky. He felt himself floating, weightless and free. Then slowly, memories began to appear before him. He saw Kaylani's childhood on Virella, the golden sunlight filtering through crystal trees, the laughter of her siblings, and the gentle touch of her mother's hand. But beneath the joy was a shadow, the heavy responsibility Kaylani carried as the future queen. Eli felt her fear of losing her people, her pain when friends turned against her, and her fierce hope for peace. He understood why trust was so important to her. It was a fragile treasure in a world full of danger. Then the dream shifted. Kaylani was now inside Eli's mind. He saw Earth through her eyes, the bright cities, the green forests, and the endless ocean. She felt the warmth of human families, the strength of their struggles, and the courage it took to keep going through hard times. Kaylani sensed the stubbornness and hope in humans, the way they could fight for what they believed in, even when the odds were against them. When the shared sleep ended, Eli opened his eyes to find Kaylani watching him closely. How do you feel? She asked softly. Eli smiled, feeling a deep connection he had never expected. I feel closer to you. And to your people. I understand why this ritual is so important. Kaylani nodded. Trust is not given lightly. This ritual helps us see the heart beneath the mask. News of the trial of sleep spread quickly through the Virellan courts. Many nobles were surprised and impressed that a human had completed the ancient ritual. It showed that Eli was willing to understand their culture, not just act as an outsider. A meeting was called to discuss the future of the empire and the rebellion. Kaylani stood before the council, her voice strong and clear. Eli Mercer has proven his commitment to our people. He has shared our history and our dreams. This alliance is real. The nobles looked at Eli with new respect. The harsh words of doubt began to soften. One elder, who had been the loudest opponent of the alliance, spoke slowly. Perhaps we have been too quick to judge. Trust is difficult, but it is also necessary. If this human can walk our path, maybe peace is possible. Eli felt a quiet hope grow inside him. That night, Kaylani and Eli sat together in the palace garden, surrounded by glowing flowers and the soft hum of the stars. Do you believe we can end the rebellion without bloodshed? Eli asked. Kaylani looked up at the sky. I want to believe it. But peace is never easy. Eli took her hand gently. We have come far. Together, we can show our people a better way. She smiled, a true smile that reached her eyes. Stay with me a little longer, Eli. Not just as a diplomat, but as a friend. Eli's heart warmed. I will stay, wherever you need me. Under the twin moons of Virella, two unlikely friends found strength in each other's trust. The road ahead was uncertain, but they faced it united, ready to bring hope to a galaxy watching closely. The halls of the Virulent Palace buzzed with anticipation. After weeks of tension, Kaylani stood ready to face the rebellion once and for all. Beside her stood Eli Mercer. Not just a diplomat now, but a true ally and friend. The council chamber was packed. Nobles, soldiers, and diplomats gathered, their eyes filled with hope or doubt. The rebels demanded Kaylani's surrender. But she was not alone. "My people," Kaylani began, her voice calm and strong. "I come to you not as a ruler commanding, from above, but as one who wishes for peace. We face a choice: war or unity." Murmurs spread through the room. Eli stepped forward. "I have traveled far and seen many worlds. I have learned that strength comes not from force, but from trust and understanding." He turned to Kaylani. "You showed me the power of hope, even in the darkest times. Together we can build a future where no one fears their neighbor." The room grew quiet, the weight of their words settling like a gentle calm. A leader from the rebels rose slowly. "Princess Kaylani, human Eli Mercer, your courage is clear. We will lay down our weapons if you promise to listen and work with us." Kaylani nodded. "I promise. Our strength lies in unity, not division." Cheers filled the chamber. The rebellion ended without bloodshed. Days later, the Galactic Council gathered once more, this time to celebrate the peace between the Virulent Empire and Earth. Eli and Kaylani stood side by side, symbols of hope and friendship. The council chairperson spoke. "Let this alliance be a beacon for all species. Let the courage of a princess and a human remind us that trust can overcome fear." After the ceremony, Kaylani turned to Eli, her eyes shining. "You have changed my world, Eli, more than any warrior or diplomat could." Eli smiled warmly. "You changed mine, Kaylani. I never thought I'd find a second home among the stars." They walked outside under Virella's twin moons, the silver light casting soft shadows. Kaylani paused, looking at Eli with a tender smile. "Now, will you stay with me? Not just as an ally, but as someone who belongs here." Eli's heart swelled. "I will stay. Wherever you lead, I will follow." She reached out, taking his hand gently. "Then, human, can you sleep beside me tonight?" Eli laughed softly. "This time I'll say yes." Under the quiet glow of the stars, two souls from different worlds found peace and a promise of a shared future. The galaxy watched, inspired by their story, a story of courage, trust, and the simple truth that even the smallest act of kindness can change everything.